Hi, I'm Jim Watson, and I've been a SAS trainer since 2003. A while ago, I delivered a webinar on date and time values in SAS. Here is some interesting content from that webinar. I hope you enjoyed this clip. Have a great day. Typically, when you look at a date, you're looking at it through the lens of a format. This means that you'd never actually look at the raw numbers, not unless you choose to do so. SAS comes equipped with a large variety of SAS formats. These are part of the SAS system, so you can use them reliably at any time. Very popular one in Australia and New Zealand is DDMMYY. This displays it as a 2-digit day of the month, a 2-digit month number, and up to a 4-digit year depending on the width. That value of W right there, by the way, is the overall width of the format in characters. As for the value X, this is there to allow you to specify various separators, so that's optional. If you leave off the X, it uses a slash as the separator, so that's very common and very popular. But by using different values of X, you can use, say, a colon, or maybe even a space, or a variety of other characters as separators. YYMMDD is basically the same thing as DDMMYY, except in the reverse format. It's got the same set of options there, a similar set of delimiters as well. And date is very popular in Europe, but also parts of Australia. It uses the up to 2-digit day, 3-character mnemonic month, so that's JNFEB, and how it displays it depends on the width. You see, if you make it, say, date 7, so that's only 7 characters, that means there's only room for a 2-digit year, which we don't recommend, obviously. If you make it date 9, it will make them adjacent day, month, and year together, but at least will give you 4 digits. And I actually recommend the new one, date 11, which even includes hyphens as separators. But occasionally you need to go the opposite direction and make them too short, which is the case you see right there. Date 5 is only wide enough to show the day and the month and not the year. But it's very nice for tabulations, because quite often when you're, say, tabulating a list of days, you don't need to give it the year. That would be redundant because normally it's mentioned in a title or something. A year 4, that ignores the month and ignores the day and only returns the year. So that's very useful for summary calculations, as is the month format. And notice how all these formats contain a dot. That's a basic programming rule of the SAS system. If the dot is not present, what you're dealing with is a variable, not a format. So yeah, just remember we call that dot the required delimiter for a reason. So month will return the month number, mon name would actually return the month name. And you can even get a combination of other things like, say, months and quarters by using more advanced formats like MONYY. This one gives you the month and the year, but excludes the day. Perfect for certain summary operations. And by the way, there's a certain formats that you should not be using anymore, like, say, the weekday format. We don't recommend you use that anymore because it's not going to work in the VIA environment known as CAS. So for that case, we recommend you use this new format, NL-DATE-L. It's an example of a natural language format, by which I mean it actually changes its appearance according to which country runs the code. So yeah, it actually checks your local locale, and if you ran it, say, in Australia and New Zealand, likely it would be in the English format, but move the whole thing to, say, Germany, everything's in German. So it's a pretty good step in the right direction of universal dates, NL-DATE-L. We supply quite a few Datetime formats. Like Datetime is basic but very serviceable. There's also a Datetime AM PM if you want to see whether it's AM or PM on that date. And of course, DT year, this one's perfect for when you want to determine the year from a datetime, but it's safe. The DT stands for datetime, and that should mean that it will correctly determine the datetime date first, then apply the format upon the output. And of course, DT month MON, basically the datetime version of the format we saw just before, called MONYY. You don't want to be using a date format upon a datetime value or vice versa. The output will be misleading, to say the least. We also support these new ISO 8601 dates. There's quite a few formats and functions relating to these particular ways of storing dates. So let's have a look at a quick demonstration. Now, in this case, you can only apply one format to a variable at a time. So I've credited the date and the time and duplicated them into separate columns. So I may add formats to them separately, thanks to my format statement right there. So this piece of code, once I run it, should give me just the one row representing all these different columns. So let's zoom in and have a look. There's the originals there on the left-hand side. This is using DDMMYY P for period, as it turns out. So that's using day, month, and year format. In this case, I've elected to use a reverse format, also using P for period. There you go. That's the MONYY format. That's useful in cases where you actually don't care what day of the month it is. You just want to summarize every row based on the month and the year that it's in. There's year 4 in action. Again, very useful for summary operations because occasionally you just want to summarize your data to just the year. So that would be perfect for that. And as it turns out, as long as you adjust the format name appropriately, so this had to be DTMONYY, it actually worked great upon the datetime. And that value is quite reliable. Very nice. We learned quite a bit about this in programming level 2.